it is only fair that we, as a serious journalistic outlet, give you the response of the man being targeted in this particular way. So Donald Trump did not waste much time before responding to the indictments that came his way late last night. Bleeding out, these thugs and radical left monsters have just indicated the 45th president of the United States of America and the leading Republican candidate by far for the 2024 nomination for president. This is an attack on our country, the likes of which has never been seen before. It is likewise a continuing attack on our once free and fair elections. The USA is now a third world nation, a nation in serious decline. So sad. So again, this is the guy who led the chants of lock her up. He thought that arresting a presidential candidate was perfectly acceptable, not third worldy at all. But when it's at him, it's not acceptable. No indications allowed. By the way, while he has not done his like calls for protest and chaos and warning of death and destruction since the indications, as he did earlier. He did follow up that earlier tweet with a tweet about the judge who apparently has been chosen to preside over his case, saying the judge assigned to my witch hunt. I don't know why signed is in those. He was assigned. That's literally what happened. A case that has never been charged before, hates me. His name is Juan Manuel Marchand, was handpicked by Bragg and the prosecutors and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, says he hates me, he's vicious, appealing, and he can appeal. And I'm not saying this is not as direct I think an implication of violence as like the picture of him with the baseball bat in Bragg's head. But like you immediately start demonizing the judge. Come on. I don't know why there is not yet some sort of social media gag order on Donald Trump. He has continually been whipping his base into a frenzy, generally with misinformation, specifically about the case, about the grand jury, about Alvin Bragg, now about the judge. He's trying to get people who know nothing about this judge to despise this person. That we know what direction that's going in. Why has there not been a gag order placed on him yet? They already, in a separate case, in the upcoming rape trial, they decided that the jury would have to be anonymous because the threats against them would be too constant, too dangerous. So I just don't know why he's still able to socially post about this. But what do you think?
I think my 10,000 foot view of it is not Alvin Bragg who is the one impugning or destroying the justice system. The only people I hear who are yelling about the American justice system being a problem are the Republicans. This is Trump systematically attempting to dismantle your faith in the institution. The institution itself is going through all the proper channels. A grand jury is a group of people you argue your case for. It's like a jury, and they look at the facts and they have to answer. The vote they had was, is there enough that you could at least indict the guy and then proceed to see if there's a settlement or a trial or anything else? So the Democrats, as they're saying, are going through the proper channels of justice. The Republicans are the ones saying that those proper channels of justice are corrupt and shouldn't be the way we do things in America. And this is the same group that said the way we should do things in America is to undo the election process in America. Mm-hmm. So their consistent argument on the right is that America sucks, is that America's institutions suck, is that justice, voting, elections, as outlined by the founders of this country, suck, and we need to get rid of it. At the same time, the people on the left are staying true to those very processes. What do you want them to do besides that?
Let them go. But that would be my prediction. We're gonna get to our predictions in just a sec. Really fast. I just want to add one more bleat. This is the middle of the night. Mm-hmm. Where's Hunter? What do you think he can't help you?
No, Trump just needed a crack fix. So he was calling his dealer.
I need something. Yeah, it's just weird. But anyway, I want to balance the scales because obviously he's the party that's being targeted in this, but I think truly aggrieved party is obviously the woman. who formed the beginning of this legal process, Stormy Daniels, who responded in a number of posts, some of which I can't show on screen, but says, "Thank you to everyone for your support and love. I have so many messages coming in that I can't respond. Also, don't want to spill my champagne." Yeah, I mean, look, after years now and after incredibly vicious insults on a constant basis from Donald Trump against her, whether you agree with the case or not, whether you think it's likely that he'll actually spend any time in jail, and I am not inclined to think so, it must feel at least something like the beginning of justice for Stormy Daniels to have actually had the first ever indictment for a current or former president. So, I'm not gonna take that from her. But I do want to also add, what?
I'm like not huge team Stormy here. She had sex with Donald Trump.
Yeah, I don't
love that either. Tweet, she's
Look,
like,
I'm sure she
merchant autograph orders are pouring in too. Thank you for that as well, but allow a few extra days for shipment. Also, she took the money.
Yes. Okay, all of that is true. That is well noted. But while that's what the two sides are saying publicly, I'm far more interested in what's going on behind the scenes. And I think a lot more of this is gonna come out over the weekend. But for now, apparently, behind the scenes back at Mar-a-Lago, Mr. Trump was angry, but mainly focused on the political implications of the charges, not the legal consequences, according to people familiar with, for him, what passes for thinking. He seemed eager to project confidence and calm and was seen having a very public dinner with his wife Melania and her parents. And I'm sure that was just the best dinner ever. Not tense at all, totally just cool, light conversation, keeping it cash. Anyway, at times, Mr. Trump has apparently appeared significantly disconnected from the severity of his potential legal woes. Again, we might disagree about how severe those potential legal woes are. I'm not a lawyer. At the same time, a large group of Trump organization former employees were quietly cheering the latest developments via text messages to Maggie Haberman, apparently. On the other side, though, many are angry. And when I say many, at least 20 Trump supporters gathered outside of Mar-a-Lago in a show of solidarity. And this is not the end of the protest. They want to protest on Tuesday, as we'll get to. But wouldn't you expect that on the night when the indictment comes down, he'd be able to manage more than 20 protesters? That does not seem like a very strong response. Am I being unfair, Brett? What do you think?
It was a shock. It was a surprise. I'm just saying there were previous instances where other causes have had larger turnouts. And those causes were things people did not see coming. They've been able to muster large
raid.
For example, flash mobs in the early 2000s were larger. Like this is, and I don't know, man. It's so shocking because they're when asked in a poll whether they'd like DeSantis or Trump, way more people want Trump. But I just don't know. I don't know. They don't show up en masse. I guess they don't know where they're supposed to show up. And if they were to show up, it would be in New York, where there aren't that many of them relative to the true full MAGA population. If Asa Hutchinson indicted Trump, maybe they'd have a larger turnout in Arkansas. But I just don't see a lot of people being like, all right, yeah, let's head out to wherever we're supposed to be right now for it.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.